So, before we begin the episode, it's a good time to tell you. The purpose of this channel has always been to move on to bigger things, especially cars. Not only that, but to convert them over to alcohol. I'm fascinated with running cars off of alcohol that you can brew at home and distill at home. I think it's a really cool, novel thing. And the goal of this channel was always to have a car running on alcohol and drive it to and from wherever to test out the feasibility of it. The go-kart, though, running and working and really fun to do, and we'll have more projects and things to do on it in the future. The go-kart, though, was just a test bed to see the feasibility of it. Also a very inexpensive way to get into it because I didn't have a lot of money. Like I said, the goal has always been for a car to be running on alcohol. We are getting a still set up here at the house. I'll do some videos on that as well. I've got to do a few repairs on it. But for the purpose of today's video, I'm very happy to announce that we have a test bed. So just take you around it. It's a 1969 Plymouth Fury III. I am absolutely in love with these cars. I'm fascinated with big cars. And I'm fascinated with the idea of making big cars go faster than they really should go. So I think this will be the perfect test bed. It's all original. Had only one owner. It was a daily driver for years. When I found it, it had been sitting for a little bit, but a mechanic got after it, got the original 318 running, repaired the heads on it, everything, and she runs pretty good, but she does have a few issues here and there. For one, the vinyl top came up and there's a rust hole right there, as you can see. Fortunately, all of this rust in here is just surface rust, so we can get a wire wheel to that and it'll be just fine. Oh, looks like there's just a tiny rust hole in here right there. That's not too bad though, that can be patched. Everything else looks pretty peachy. If you look up under here, that's the damage from that water seeping in. And also all along up under there to there, there's a lot of water damage in there. So we'll have to repair that eventually, but it's not going to get in the way of us putting some power to it right now, or doing a few other things on it while we plan those repairs out. Let me show you the front side. All original paint body. The paint's starting to get very far gone. As you could see, some of the Bondo and stuff is coming up through here. It's peeling and chipping off, like that's bare metal underneath there. Let's show you the goods. So, a very unmiraculous 318 V8. Why they put 318s in C-bodies, I will never understand, but it actually motivates it pretty well. As you can see, this is this different paint job on the heads. They just got another set of heads and put them on there and got it running. That last mechanic that was in there. Also the 2-barrel carb, 318 2-barrel. Other than the heads, this is, I'm told this is the exact same engine that was in it. Its numbers matching. Points ignition. It's got the original air conditioning. That's another issue, is the air conditioning is still R12. It has not been converted over to R134A. However, I do have a friend that works at a shop that can do that for us, and that won't be an issue. It starts, runs, drives. I'm not going to start it right now. I'm going to actually come back to this in about 24 hours. We were having, here, let me show you what was going on. So if you look right here, here's the accelerator pump for the old BBD. And if you notice, there's a heavy amount of varnish right here. It's even really sticky right there. When I originally bought it, it was running, but as soon as you stepped on the gas, it would die. Accelerator pump. And we got, so I didn't really have time to mess with it right then. I was looking for more project platform anyway, but we got it home, noticed that the varnish was on the carburetor right there. And so me and a neighbor helped me while I pushed the gas. We cleaned it off and got the carburetor or got the accelerator pump moving once again. As soon as that happened, it was just fine. So I've got some seafoam in the tank right now. It's got a new gas tank too, which is very helpful. I've got some seafoam in the gas tank right now, and I'm gonna let it cure in there for about 24 hours because I'm not sure how old the gas is either. And as soon as it cures for about 24 hours in there, let it kind of mix with the molecules and do all the sciencey stuff, we'll crank it up and run it for a few minutes to let that seafoam kind of seep through the engine and through the fuel system, or let that seafoam kind of seep through the fuel system, and that way it cleans it out and cleans out all that varnish a little more. But she's very good. Take you around, show you the interior. So one of the things too, here's the interior right here actually, and you can tell we've got little bit of mold and mildew on the carpet. We got a fan in here circulating the air so that it'll dry out a little bit. The back seat, however, the back seat is in pristine condition. There's no mold or mildew on the carpeting at all. Front seats, this little rip right here, and then this little thing is really the only issue. Everything else moves and glides freely, stuff. So the reason we got that fan in there, realized as soon as we bought it, we've had rain here in Texas past week, and right around here, maybe I can get it to you. Yeah, right around in here, the sealant for the windshield has dry rotted through, and it's letting water in, and it looks like it has for just a little bit. However, I was worried about it. Let me close this up. We did check underneath. If you look, floor pans, everything else is solid. Just solid under there. Yeah, all solid. So it has not been leaking long, which is good. We can mitigate it, and the first thing I already did was bought a car cover for it. We have to keep it in the driveway right here. I don't have the room in the garage quite yet, but I went ahead and bought a car cover for it so that we can cover it and at least keep that part out of the elements. And this is not the right way to do it, but I am going to put just a little dab of sealant right here, just to keep it out in case we do have to keep it uncovered, or something happens and the cover rips. Something just as an added barrier. So plans for this, obviously an alcohol conversion, very much so. That's what I want. Second plan too, that vinyl roof is coming off. I have another vinyl roof car over there, and they're just, every vinyl roof car I come in contact with is just hell. The water seeps under there, it holds, it starts to rot the metal. They're just not good to have. And there's really no difference between in size or anything between the vinyl roof and the painted roof. Just rip the vinyl off, we're going to repair the metal and then paint it to match, or we can also paint it the color of the top. I kind of like the black on white, but we'll figure that out. All we do know is the vinyl top is coming off. Second, we're going to take the motor out of our 74 Chrysler over there. It's a 400, and we're going to make a 451 stroker out of it. We're going to drop it in here. We'll have to get the motor mounts and everything for it, but that won't be too big of a deal. as well. We have the 727 transmission out of that. We'll build it to beef it up a little bit, and then that's the engine that will run on alcohol. We'll start out carbureted to get it going, get it running, and then eventually we're going to fuel inject it. I've got a Mega Squirt system that I've been wanting to play with, and now we've got a platform to play with it on. There's a few things drive shaft wise we have to do, because if we're going to the big block, we got to shorten the drive shaft. We're going to go through this with a fine-tooth comb tomorrow, but I believe it's an 8 3/4 inch rear end that came stock even with the 318. So if that's the case, then we got a good rear end. Oh yeah, also we're going to this thing came with drums all the way around, so we're going to do a disc brake conversion on it. Stiffer torsion bars, because we're getting the big block versus the small block. They made Cop torsion bars for these, but there's also a company that that does an even stiffer, bigger torsion bar than the Cop one. So I'm gonna see which one I want to go with. I'd really like it to give it as much help handling as it can, because it is a barge. Oh, and if you notice, there's a little bit of what looks like the owner just dinged up the door on the garage or something like that. Gonna fix that. Looks like a little ding here. We'll fix that. The cosmetics will come later on. So that's the introduction to the car. We're gonna fast forward 24 hours, and once we do, we'll be able to start it for you, show you how it runs. Also, here's a good point to tell you too. My ADD is just running wild today. Here's a good point to tell you this. We're going to live stream the engine build. We're not going to do the whole do it really quickly, because I'm not that experienced. I can't do that. However, each portion of it, we're ripping out the motor from that, getting the motor stripped down, building it back up with the stroker kit involved, everything that we have to do. We'll stream all of those events over the weeks that we do them. We're getting prepared for that. We're really excited for it, and it'll be streamed on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/thewheelman72. We'll stream it there live, and then I'll be recording it as well, so we'll post the video to YouTube so that nobody misses out on the fun. But for now, let's fast forward 24 hours and let's see what this car's made of. 24 hours later, and we're ready to start the car. Let's see how she sounds. Doop-a-doo. I wonder if it'll light from first start. Yeah, almost so. Just about. All right, let's try some gasoline in the carb. All right, just a little dab will do ya. Little backfire, never hurt anybody. We're gonna let this run for about 20 minutes to get the seafoam gasoline sparking through it, and then we'll check some other components of the car, see how she is. See you in a bit. Okay, so running it for 20 minutes, looks like it was going good. Revved the engine a little bit and the engine died, so there might be some tuning issues with the carb. But I tried to start it and the starter was locked. Let me try it again. Starts on the bump of the key. I guess the starter is kind of getting old because it when it was warmer, when it just shut off, it wouldn't start. I guess maybe it needs a second to cool. Yeah, idles well, runs well now. Small block's not going to be in here for long, so if we do, I was thinking the other night of showing a friend of the channel a few things, because he's more into later cars and stuff. He's got an AMG Mercedes that he's built. He doesn't know much about vintage cars, carburetors, or anything like that. So I was thinking about doing a few modifications to the 318 since I got some small block parts, and showing him how things work carburetor wise and old school way. And he's very much for it. So we're thinking about doing that before we rip the small block out. But that's going to be very quick, very simple, and the details are still in the works for that. So, well, everything seems good. Doesn't diesel when it shuts down, so let's go see what she's made of. I need to check the rear end first. So, if we go down here, take a look. If you can see right there, there's no bolts or rear cover on the back of the rear end. That means we have an 8 3/4 inch rear end, which is awesome, because that means it can stand up to a little bit of power. I thought they were stock in 69 C bodies, and they are, even with the 318. So we've got the rear end. If we look though, the springs, if we look, the springs definitely need to be replaced. Something a little bit stiffer. These are definitely not the strongest, and I don't know if springs should look that flat, to be honest with you. I really don't know. So some new rear leaves. Oh shit, ouch. Some new rear leaves will be fine. Probably need some new shocks. Right there, yeah. 318, we're running single exhaust. We'll probably have to replace that to some duals, maybe some headers. I got a Chrysler 300 hubcap in the deal, which is cool. You just don't find things like that anymore, but I was gonna get in there. What I was gonna get was, there we are, dual 570 R15, so 15-inch wheels. I kind of want to stay with the 15-inch wheels as long as I can. I really like the profile. I always love the way they look. Maybe go a little bit bigger if we have to. We start putting more power to the ground, we'll probably have to go bigger. But hold it off as long as we can. I just always like the look of originality in these things. I mean, people race on 15-inch tires for years, so. Okay, if you can't tell, there is a crack right here all the way to about here on the windshield. And like I said earlier yesterday, the weather, or the seal on the windshield is going too, so we're definitely going to have to get a new windshield for this thing. All right, so electrical. Let's see, we'll do electrical then cosmetic. Turn on the, oh, the lights come on without the key. That's pretty cool. Let's see the alternator discharge, turn off. Cool, that's good. As far as electrical goes, and it's really kind of hard to see in the daylight, the map lights don't work. There's a courtesy light right here that works. It's about the only thing that works light wise on the dash. The radio is out. I love the look of original dashes. I hate it when people cut up dashes stuff. I'm very much a stickler for originality. So I want to take the original radio and I want to put in modern electronics, like, you know, for Bluetooth and you know, satellite radio, even if we could manage it. I know there was a company that used to do it, but I have training in electronics, so I probably could figure it out. I think that would be a cool video too. Also, some of the interior components. I'm in love with thin steering wheels. It's not only an original thing, just they feel better. when you're driving them. So definitely want to find a replacement original wheel. It looks like this wheel was replaced at one point, because that's blue, the interior's blue, that's green. That's probably from a different Fury or a different car altogether. Also, a lot of play in the steering. Hopefully we won't have to replace anything in the steering rack, but we'll look at it under hood here in a second. Okay, so if you look at the steering box, and let me see if I can balance this while I reach over here. There's a lot of play in that box. So, see about getting it rebuilt or getting a new one. Plans call, like I said yesterday, for taking the 400 out of my Chrysler and throwing it in here, or making a 451 stroker out of it and throwing it in here. That radiator pipe is hot. So we're gonna need the big block motor mounts, which is fine. Actually, small block to big block conversions on these C bodies were really easy. They use the same K-member. So all we need is the motor mounts and some factory style bolts. That way it's a really easy conversion. We need the AC converted to R134A. It is Texas. I am not driving without AC. We can look at, looks like we've got a ton of room in here for headers if we want them. Then we need torsion bars, brand new torsion bars. You can see those are the small block ones in there. Got told by a neighbor to go on ahead and paint this black. I'm gonna do that too. Just paint down the brake booster, get it all shiny again. There is a rust hole right there, and a couple more right in the back right there too that needs to be looked at, that we need to get fixed. So we're going to fix that as well. But overall, the really cool part is there's not a lot of emission stuff, or really any for that matter that I can see. It's all motor and, you know, just everything that needs to be there. Ignition, yeah, we're gonna go to electronic ignition because I've got the parts for them for it, although points are not a big deal. But we'll do that conversion when we swap out to the big block. So I mentioned yesterday that I wanted to put the 727 from my Chrysler in here, and I'm still on the fence about that. I'm manually shifting this car somehow. I'm just figuring out, do I want the 727 with maybe a reverse manual valve body in it, or just a manual valve body in it? Or do I want to just go on ahead and throw in a Tramac 6-speed? I think these things did come with 4-speeds, or there were some years that came with 4-speeds, so doing a manual conversion shouldn't be that bad. See, you got plenty of room in here to do whatever you need to do on it, so I don't think a conversion would be that hard. And we have to rip up the carpet anyway, so there's plenty of room in here to modify the tranny tunnel and anything else we need and stuff. Well, possibly that the AC might get in the way there, if that's the AC. I don't know what that is. We'll have to find out. But yeah, we're eventual transmission is to be determined for right now. I had an original outro planned for this, but the camera went dead while I was out there, and I was very hot and tired, so I came in, took a shower, and I'm a little more cleaned up than I was. I wanted to get this update out there so that you guys know what's going on, guys and girls out there know what's going on with the channel and know what's going on with me. Just a lot of work and a lot of things going on in personal life that I couldn't be there to film as much. But we did get some footage of putting the alcohol engine on the go-kart, of the go-kart actually running, and increasing the timing on the go-kart. I think we increased it to 40 degrees of timing, total timing advance in there. So it runs really, really good now. And we'll put that video out there next episode. It's edited, I just have to go get it. But like everything else in life, right now, especially with COVID. It's kind of hard to move around and go see people without, taking the utmost of precautions. So we're going to get that out next. It'll be no problem to do more content on the go-kart as well, in conjunction with the Fury project that we have now. In fact, the go-kart could make a really good test bed for future things that we want to do, just to see how it'll react. I would like to tear down that engine as well to see what it looks like inside after having sat and ran and sat and ran for a little while. So until next time, we'll see you guys around, and hope to see you soon.